So we're just going to repot this into some nice bonsai pots. Being careful with the roots here because they snap incredibly easily, and sorry for the picture of my fridge, but it's -2 outside, so I can't really do it outside. So I'm just gently teasing the roots. Trying to get rid of as much of the soil as I possibly can and see if we can split the two and see where we go from there. So I'm slowly working my way around the plant. I get a bit bored if I just start on one side. So every time I'm rotating it, it's a bit of an awkward one. You know, it snaps really easily if you've ever tried it before. The roots are really tangled up. I mean, this has been growing in the same pot for, well, at least 5 to 6 years. When I was doing this, I discovered that it had been in the pot previously as well, and they hadn't really untangled it. So slowly working through it. So I'm just teasing these apart. They obviously came apart quite easily with a bit of a snap, which is not the best. But putting that big one aside, and I'm just going to work on this little one for now. Again, continuing to take it all out. You can see stones and bits of pots coming out the bottom that we use for drainage. So now I've got quite a lot of the soil, old compost really. I didn't made sure that it was pretty dry before I started this, just to make it a lot easier to remove as much of the old compost as I could. Pretty happy with that so far. Grabbing the pot, see how it looks. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Just gonna, rotate it a little bit, see where the front is. So I'm just putting some wire in the bottom of the pot just to hold it down, because as you can see there wasn't really much root coming out of it. So whacking a bit of homemade bonsai soil into that, so it's vermiculite, expanded clay and a bit of cocoa, just for the added extra moisture retention. Placing it in, seeing how it looks, giving it a little bit of a wiggle to make sure there's no air underneath, and then I'm going to tie it together, make sure that it stays on. As you can see, it's pretty top heavy, so as I'm doing this, the tree just wants to fall straight onto my lap. Slowly tying it together. So we're going to put in some extra bonsai soil and make sure it goes into all the little nooks and crevices. Make sure there's no air gaps in it. Tighten up a bit more because I realised it was just going to fall flat on me. So I'm working all the soil into where the roots are with this chopstick. Not doing an excellent job, but you know, just keep going, just keep trying to get that all in as firmly as I possibly can, giving it a good old push down, and then I'll water that in a bit later. So now I'm going to take a lot of the extra branches off that aren't really needed, so I'm just having a look. Didn't realise that it wasn't actually in view when I'm doing this. So the lengths of material coming off are going to be propagated and turned into new trees eventually, you know, 5-6 years down the line. Slow process, just taking a look, doing a bit of snipping, stepping back, going for more of a triangular shape in this one. Eventually it will fill out, so don't feel too bad if you're taking too much off, because I mean these things are pretty hardy, to be honest with you. As long as you don't get them cold and you feed them really well. So I'm just taking off some of these big branches that are just in front, blocking the view of the tree. Again, these will be saved. I'm not worrying too much about healing the wounds over or anything, because this will dry up and it will seal itself over, so no cut paste is really needed. Taking off all the long straight bits, trying to give it a bit of shape. Again, it's always handy if you step back, take a look, do a cut, step back, take a look, repeat the process until you're happy with how it's all turning out. So there, as you can see, I didn't realise the tree wasn't in focus, and that was that one. So I'm now going to start working on the second tree, see how it is. Again, start working on the roots, trying to tease them out, being careful because, like I said, they do snap really easily. Same process as before, whacking in some wire. This one was a bit harder because I chose not to get some longer wire and it made the job a lot harder. So again, putting in some soil just so I can whack it in. Finding the front right now. I didn't realise again that we weren't on camera, getting all used to this. Normally I do this all outside, but like I said, it's -2 at the moment and this would just turn to mush if I had. So you get to see my lovely son's drawings on the fridge that don't wipe off. So as you can see, this is me struggling with the wire. Wasn't quite long enough and didn't really want to do it all over again. But, you know, hindsight's a beautiful thing, probably would have. So, a couple of minutes here of me just struggling with the wire before I get to put any of the compost, well, bonsai soil in. Didn't really like the shape of this tree, so taken quite a lot of big branches off, but I'm not too worried about them. They'll heal over and will turn into new bonsai in the future. Going quite harsh on this tree again because there's not much taper in the branches and it's pretty straight and leggy. It's obviously been grown somewhere that wasn't really the best place for it over a long period of time, not pruned how you're really supposed to. So where I am cutting will eventually, split into two and then cut them again and split off into four, and we'll get a lot of ramification. And the barriers on this, they're okay. It's a work in development and not everything happens overnight. I wish it was a bit better, but can't grumble too much. Here I'm having a good look, rotating the tree round, trying to decide, what I should keep, what I shouldn't keep. Deciding that back branch at the back, it's just taller than the main stem. We don't really want that. Having a look, still looks like an ugly tree to me, to be honest. It didn't really turn out how I was expecting it, but given a couple of years, the ramification will come in and it will just look amazing. But at the moment, it was a pretty harsh cut back. Not really liking how the top works out. Trying to bring these all back down. Like I said before though, that it's going to split off at all them cut points and we should be alright.